So what is a digital brain? Well, a digital brain is a computer model of the brain. It is a replica of the brain. It copies the shape, the dimensions, and the behavior of the synapses, the neurons, the brain circuits, the brain regions, the whole brain, the connectivity between every neuron, what we call the connectome between different types of neurons. There are many different types of neurons that we have to recreate in all the different brain regions. This is an enormous task, and there is an enormous amount of data out there. We use artificial intelligence to read hundreds of thousands of papers, and we go to databases where they've scanned the brain or measured certain aspects of the brain, and we draw in that, and we map this into knowledge graphs, register them in atlases so that we can actually use that data in algorithms in order to be able to recreate each and every neuron as accurately as it occurs in the real brain. Of course, it's not a copy of a particular brain, but it is representative of the brain. So this involves a vast amount of software. It's a huge ecosystem. We produced over these 20 years 18 million lines of code that have all the equations, the functions, algorithms, agents that build different neurons or connect different neurons. So we built this huge ecosystem of software to be able to build this brain, but to unpack this, it actually all collapses down into 5 steps to build the brain. The first step is to fill the brain with neurons, as dots. They get different colors because they have a different identity. They have a different type and name in terms of the shape or in terms of the way that they behave. There are about 600 different brain regions. In the mouse brain, there is about 70 million neurons that must be recreated in digital form. The human brain is about 1,000 times more, so you'd need much bigger computing to be able to do that. The second step, once you've got your neurons in place, is to grow what's called the dendrites. They are the branches that come out of every neuron, and every type of neuron has different branches. These branches are like antennas. The neurons extend the antennas so that they can receive information from other neurons from the parts of the brain. It is now mathematically possible, and this is a problem we solved after nearly 50 years of research, how to copy and recreate mathematically the branches of any neuron. They can now be recreated. The third step is to grow what's called the axons. The axons are the branches the neuron extends to send information to other neurons. We have to grow in a computer 70,000 kilometers of axons because that's what they do to reach out and touch every other neuron that they need to connect with. It's actually shocking the amount of axons that there is in your brain. If you unwrap your brain, you could lasso the moon a couple of times with your axons. Now that you have axons and dendrites, the fourth step is to connect them and find out where to create the synapse. There are lots of rules that govern the creation of a synapse, and not every time the dendrites and axons touch, they form synapses. We apply these rules, and you get out a massive graph. So your brain is effectively a knowledge graph of 100 billion rows and 100 billion columns. Every node is actually a little supercomputer. The neuron is like a little supercomputer. The fifth and last step is to switch it on. These are mathematical models that recreate the behavior of every neuron. Every type of neuron has a slightly different way of behaving. It's got different electrical properties. What you're seeing here is electrical generation. Your brain is an electrical generator. Every neuron generates electricity in different ways. So we can now recreate all the different electrical behaviors of all the different cells in the brain and capture it even at the whole brain level.